New polling data shows that Donald Trump has a lower approval rating than every single governor in the United States, all 50 of them. Every governor polls higher than the president of the United States in that governor's state. In Michigan, 63% of people approve of how the Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer has handled the coronavirus pandemic. 36% of people approve of President Trump's handling of the coronavirus pandemic. Tonight, after Michigan's Republican-led legislature rejected Governor Whitmer's request to extend a state of emergency declaration, Governor Whitmer issued a new executive order extending the declaration until May 28th. Hundreds of people demonstrated outside Michigan's Capitol building today. That's a couple of hundred people in a state of 10 million people. Those people were protesting measures Governor Whitmer put in place to keep those people safe from the spread of coronavirus. Many protesters carried assault weapons and had pro-Trump signs and pro-Trump campaign paraphernalia. As protesters moved into the Capitol building, Democratic State Senator Danya Polhanke posted this photo saying, directly above me, men with rifles yelling at us. Some of my colleagues who own bulletproof vests are wearing them. I have never appreciated our sergeant at arms more than today. As of tonight, the state of Michigan has 41,379 confirmed coronavirus cases, including 3,789 confirmed deaths from coronavirus. One of the medical professionals treating those patients is Dr. Rob Davidson. He's an emergency medicine physician in Michigan. He's also the executive director of the Committee to Protect Medicare. Dr. Davidson, thank you very much for joining us again tonight. What is the situation in Michigan tonight?
Well, I think when it comes to this virus, I think it is tenuous. Our cases aren't going down. Our governor is trying to follow the guidelines set out by the White House itself. And yet we have a state legislature that is run by Republicans in both the House and the Senate that have, like you said, voted to strip her of emergency powers, that are giving tacit approval to these protesters who are gathering against the advice, not observing social distancing. And I just saw this evening cell phone data from the last round of protests, the ones that our president tweeted out, hashtag Liberate Michigan, about giving them approval. I saw cell phone data showing those cell phones scattering around the state, predominantly to West Michigan, where I work. And we're seeing cases in West Michigan go up by 50%, 100%, 200% in some counties over the last few weeks. And I just know that from today's protest, people are going to go back to their communities in other parts of Michigan. And we're just going to keep doing the same thing over and over. We're never going to get out of this.
Doctor, what does Michigan need? What do you need tonight?
We need the ability to test individuals. We need the ability to test every single symptomatic person, which now we can do in about the last week and a half, which thankfully that's possible. But I know at my hospital, we're a couple days away from being out of swabs. So we need the ability to test all of the contacts of those positives. We need the ability to test essential workers before they go into factories, before we go into hospitals. And we don't have that ability. I know in this country, we need at least 500,000 to 1 million tests per day, and we're currently sitting around 250,000 tests a day. So the President of the United States needs to use his powers with the Defense Production Act to get us those supplies and the tests, not just the tests, as Vice President Pence said, but the ability to do the tests so we can get ourselves out of this.
Doctor, I want to go back to the numbers. Now, I've made the point that it's a tiny number of protesters within the total population of a 10 million person state. But the point you were just making was those few hundred people today, all breathing on each other, all close to each other, all touching whatever, passing signs around, things like that, that group has the capacity to keep Michigan's coronavirus numbers moving in the wrong direction.
Correct, as Congressman Raskin was saying, as that R-naught, or that transmissibility number, is still probably around 2, maybe a little less, but it's more than 1. You know, one person's giving it to more than one person. If those people go back to their communities and they go into grocery stores, they go to their homes, they go visit with family, I don't believe they're probably observing social distancing at home as well as they should if they're willing to go to a rally like this. that's just going to continue the spread of the virus. And people who live in these other communities, unbeknownst to them, and they're doing everything they should, they are now at risk if these folks don't wear masks out in public like they're supposed to. Again, if they want to get out of this situation, the chance to do that is to just listen to the governor, give it a few weeks, and we can work ourselves out of this using data and science.
Dr. Rob Davidson, thank you very much for the work you're doing, and thank you for taking some time to join us tonight. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Dr. Davidson gets tonight's last word. The 11th hour with Brian Williams starts now.